Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Dalton from the Petrol List, and you might notice me holding my phone up like this. It's because I actually took my notes on this phone. Don't worry, I'm not taking weird pictures of you or videotaping you as you watch my film. So it's it's above board. All right? Okay, calm down. All right. So let's go and get started. The Imola Formula One Grand Prix was boring, and then exciting, and I think we all know what I'm talking about. I'm going to skip to that part. I'm going to fast forward, and then I'm going to go back into chronological order. So I've been watching the race, and just kind of like wondering to myself, why am I watching this race? I kind of already know what's going to happen. The Verstappen lead wasn't as big as it usually is, but it was still like 6 or 7 seconds. I think maybe a little bit more, about 2/3 of the race done. And then with like 10 or so laps remaining, Lando Norris comes out of nowhere and starts closing the gap.
And a little bit more. I'm pushing as much as I can.
And we've seen some great Grand Prix so far this year, but we haven't really seen a battle like this all the way to the end.
It's below 6 seconds. It's below 5 seconds. We get to like 3, down to below 2. And I think with like 2 or 3 laps remaining, he was in DRS to the point where the last lap, he finished 0.7 seconds behind Max Verstappen. I'm not an anyone but Verstappen kind of guy. I want to see competition on the racetrack kind of guy. And the last couple of laps of the Grand Prix delivered. So in my mind, there's a bit of an unexpected rivalry going on. It's Verstappen versus Norris, at least for the last couple of races. And with the McLaren upgrades, I kind of feel like that might be happening for the rest of the season. I still think that Max Verstappen is going to win the championship. I still think Red Bull is going to win the constructors. But my gosh, there might just be a little bit of excitement to look forward to in Formula One this year. It didn't really seem like that at the beginning of the year. And boy, oh boy, was I wrong about Lando Norris's winning prospects. I think I considered him a top 5 driver. He's still top 5, but in my mind, the top 5 drivers, they're kind of, for the most part, interchangeable. I still, despite Hamilton's abysmal last few seasons, for consistency's sake, I still consider both him and Verstappen still in a league above in terms of who is on the grid right now. But it's really hard to do an apples to apples comparison because the Mercedes car is just so crap this year. It is a legitimate mid-tier car, but you know, there was something about a battle for first that really woke up a sense of excitement in me, a longtime Formula One fan. And I was like, holy crap, this is why I watch this sport. It was worth sitting through the first 50 laps of boringness just to see that at the end. Now imagine an entire race. No. Imagine an entire season where there's a back and forth. That could happen in 2025. Hamilton's going to be in a much better Ferrari car than the current tractor that he's driving. Lando Norris and McLaren are going to continue to upgrade. And Red Bull, I think they're still going to be strong. They're going to have Adrian Newey there developing the 2025 car. Now, once the season gets started, there might not be any new innovative aerodynamics ideas going on, but I think they're obviously still going to be competitive in 2025 because it's going to be a continuation of the same car that they've been winning with for the last 3 or 4 years, or for the last 3 years. The Ferrari car is going to be good, and you know what? Let's just stay in 2024 right now. 8 laps into the race, and there were no overtakes save for the start. Lap 10, Albon's wheels, they weren't on properly. Last time, remember I said, look at pit stops. Pit stops is where it's at. It's the canary in the coal mine. It's the barometer for how well the team is gelling. And when Albon got, the unsafe release, to me that just says that this is a team that is struggling. Perez lost 5 seconds going off on lap 18. Verstappen got a black and white flag early on into the race for track limits. And I mean, this is just an indicator of how I feel Red Bull is doing right now. Still clearly the most successful team, but driving at that extreme level of excellence is impossible for 3 straight years. At some point, something's got to give. And even Max Verstappen, Mr. Driving Robot himself, he's still a human being. And you got to forgive him that black and white flag. There's more pressure. There's more pressure. Okay. Yeah, and Perez was out at Q2. He had plenty of mistakes this weekend. I really thought that Perez's extension going into next year was going to be a shoe-in. I'm not so sure. Perez was passed by Leclerc and Piastri at lap 27. To be fair, I don't think that he had changed his tires out, so he was on old tires. Hamilton had an unforced error. He went off about mid-race, had some understeer. Piastri had the fastest lap by lap 33. And Perez, so this is interesting. Perez let everyone pass. I think it was like lap 37. He let everybody pass except for Lewis Hamilton. I don't know if he's got a thing against Lewis Hamilton. I don't know if Christian Horner was like, let everybody by except for Hamilton. And then as soon as Hamilton passed, he went to the pits. I'm like, what a jerk. What a jerk. You knew you were going to pit, and you're just blocking this guy for no reason. They got to change the rules. They got to, blue flag these guys. They got to let people race, because if you're already out of the race, and I've experienced this in, iRacing or whatever, if you're already out of the race, just let people race by you. It's frustrating as all get out, and the fact that he let everybody by except for Lewis Hamilton, very telling. And honestly, if he leaves Formula One, my feelings wouldn't be hurt. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Checo fans. I don't know. I'm a stickler for just letting people race. I'm not necessarily like, oh, you got to be, a gentleman, all the time. Racing is racing. People get aggressive. Hamilton's been aggressive. K-Mag definitely has been aggressive. Verstappen has been aggressive. It's racing. But by the time you're just, I don't know, you're just sitting there blocking, driving slow, that's annoying. But yeah. So Russell boxed at lap 53. Norris, he was under 3 seconds to Verstappen by lap 54. And like I said, we had an actual race on our hands by the end. I was quite happy for that. It could have been Piastri, it could have been Sainz, it could have been Leclerc, just anybody. Please race at the front of the pack. The fact that it was Norris, especially coming after his first win, poetic. And I actually was excited to watch at least the end of the race. And Formula One, they need that. They need to continue that moving forward, because that's what people tune in for. You don't want to know how it's going to end every time. And Lando's not even my driver. I'm just happy that somebody was doing something. So that's it. Okay. 10 minutes. 10 minutes of talking. Do I have anything else? I think Ford was talking about an 8-cylinder front engine rear wheel drive sedan. I think that would be cool. And guess what? That would definitely undercut Dodge and what they're doing with some, 3-liter twin turbo sedan, coupe, muscle car thing, Charger, Challenger. I think they're lost in the sauce. But you know who is even more lost in the sauce is Chevy. They're talking about making the Camaro come back as a 4-door sedan electric vehicle. Guys, you already screwed up the Blazer. The Hummer is a piece of crap. I'm talking about GM. Just stop. Everybody, Aston Martin has a V12. Ferrari's got a V12. People are coming back to, like, Mercedes. They're putting a twin turbo V8 back in their AMGs. Chevy, you didn't get the memo. I'm talking to you, Chevy. I'm not even that big of a Camaro guy. But again, I like competition. Make something with a V8. And actually think about why it didn't do so well. I never drove one, but I heard it was outward visibility. That's why people weren't buying them, because you just made the windshield too small. Fix those issues. Then bring it back. But don't just go, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. It's just too silly. I don't know. Anyway, okay, that's it. That was your Monday video. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and things. I'm out.